history of nuclear power does start with science in Europe, blossom in the UK and USA, with the latest technology and economy might languishes for a few decades. Then has a new growth spurt in East Asia. In the process, over 17,000 reactor years of operation have been accumulated in providing a significant proportion of the world's electricity. History of nuclear energy. Uranium was discovered in 1789 by Martin Klaproth, a German chemist, and named after the planet Uranus. The science of atomic radiation, atomic charge, and nuclear fusion was developed from 1895 to 1945, much of it in the last 6 of those years. Over 1939 until 1945, most development was focused on the atomic bomb. From 1945, attention was given to harnessing this energy in a controlled fashion for naval propulsion and for making electricity. Lastly, the history of the nuclear power. Since 1956, the prime focus has been on the technological evaluation of reliable nuclear power plants.
Agency Nuclear Malaysia was established on 19 September 1972. Agency Nuclear Malaysia was then known as the Centre for Application of Nuclear Malaysia, CRANE. It was formerly named Tun Ismail Atomic Research Centre Puspati. In June 1983, Puspati was placed under the patronage of the Prime Minister and was called Nuclear Energy Unit, UTN. It was placed under Ministry of Science, Technology and Environment in October 1990. In August 1994, its name was changed to Malaysian Institute for Nuclear Technology Research, MNT. On 28 September 2006, following in restructuring, MNT was given a new identity, which is Malaysian Nuclear Agency. Its strategy location near the higher learning institution. Agency Nuclear Malaysia function are to conduct research and development (R&D), service and training in the field of nuclear technology for national development. Then they encourage application, transfer and commercialization of nuclear technology and coordinate and manage the national and international nuclear affairs. The nuclear reaction was divided into two, which are fusion and fission. Fusion power is a proposed form of power generation that would generate electricity by using heat from nuclear fission reaction.
The first advantage of nuclear power is relatively low cost. The initial construction costs of nuclear power plants are large. On top of this, when the power plant first have been built, we are left with the cost to enrich the processed nuclear fuel and control and get rid of nuclear waste, as well as the maintenance of the plant. The reason this is under advantageous is that nuclear energy is cost competitive. Generating electricity in nuclear reactors is cheaper than electricity generating from oil, gas and coal, not to speak of the renewable energy resources. The second advantages of nuclear power is low pollution. It is in most cases more beneficial in terms of the climate crisis to replace other energy harnessing methods we use today with nuclear power. The environmental effects of nuclear power are relatively light compared to those. However, nuclear waste is potentially harmful for both human and the environment. Well, is nuclear power sustainable? By definition, nuclear energy is a not renewable energy source. As I mentioned above, there is a limited amount of fuel for nuclear power available. On the other hand, you could argue that nuclear energy is potentially sustainable by the use of breeder reactors and fusion reactors. Nuclear fusion is the holy grail of harnessing energy. If we can learn to control atomic fusion, the same reaction as those that fuel the sun, we have practically unlimited energy. At the moment, these two methods both have serious challenges that need to be dealt with. if we are to start using them on larger scale. Moving on to disadvantages of nuclear power. While the advantages of using nuclear energy seem to be many, there are also plenty of negative effects of nuclear power, and this is the most important one. First, accidents happen. The radioactive waste can possess a threat to the environment and is dangerous for humans like us. We all remember the Chernobyl accident, where the harmful effects of nuclear radiation on humans can even be witnessed today. Estimates conclude that somewhere between 15,000 and 30,000 people lost their lives in the Chernobyl aftermath, and more than 2.5 million Ukrainians are still struggling with health problems related to nuclear waste. Next is radioactive waste. Does nuclear power cause air pollution? The nuclear power plant emit negligible amount, if any, carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. However, the processes in the nuclear fuel chain such as mining, enrichment and waste management does. There are many arguments both for and against nuclear power. All in all, I would say that the future of nuclear power looks promising. With new generations of reactors, potential major breakthroughs such as nuclear fusion, the methods we use to harness nuclear energy will get better in the next coming years. The question is, do we need nuclear power or the renewable a better choice?
Nuclear energy originates from the splitting of uranium atom. This process called as fission. This generates heat to produce steam, which is used by turbine generator to generate electricity. In 2012, more than 400 reactors was in operation in 30 countries around the world. The first place is United States, that has the largest nuclear power industry, which has more than 100 reactors, followed by France, which has more than 50. In this country, France can generate about 75% of country's electricity, and France is one of the world's largest electricity exporter. Next is Japan. Well, Japan is an importer. Russia is a main electricity exporter. And lastly is South Korea. Nuclear plant South Korea can generate about 59% of country's electricity. For the application of nuclear power, we have that can divide by two, which are BWR and PWR. BWR is boiling water reactor and PWR is pressurized water reactor. Boiling water reactor or BWR are in operation in United States, Germany, Japan, Finland, Switzerland, and various other countries. For electric generation, BWR comes second after PWR.
The conclusion is, nuclear's power advantage is that it doesn't use large amount of fossil fuels. Coal and natural gas power plant emit much more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to climate change. With nuclear power plant, carbon dioxide emissions are minimal. A problem that may arise with this plant is that, on average, nuclear power plant annually generates 20 metric tons of used nuclear fuel, classified as high-level radioactive waste. All of these waste emit radiation and heat, meaning that it will eventually corrode any container and can prove lethal to nearby life forms. They also produce low-level radioactive waste in the form of radiated parts and equipment. But all things considered, nuclear power plants do provide energy for much of the world with less damage to the environment. They also allow for steady paying middle-class jobs for men and women all around the globe. Thank you.